Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back at my cider table with some more cider to try. And it was a double header, but I'm not doing them together, I'm doing it as two films. So what we just tried was this one, the On Point 10-12 cider. And now we're going to try this one, Kingsthorne cider. So both from Herefordshire. This one I've never had before. I've never had that one before. So this one's an interesting one. So it's made at a winery called Kingsthorne. Let's read what it says on the back. That's easier, isn't it, Chris? Yes, it is. The Vale of Sorry, it's a bit steamed up, this bottle. The Vale of Castaird's is the Gloucestershire home of Kingsthorne. A secluded valley of ancient woodlands and the meandering Westbury Brook, all within the historic estate of Flaxley Abbey. Briery Orchard cider, a traditional style cider, barrel aged for over 12 months, soft apple aromas along with an oaky vanilla character that mellows onto the palate, slightly sparkling with a long, rounded finish. Barrel aged cider, cider with a Y. Yeah, so they're bigging themselves up here because you can put cider on it, then it has to be something good, in my opinion. Otherwise, it's theft. 7% ABV. Something I read about this was they do it in like bourbon casks and whiskey casks and port casks and stuff. So I don't know if this has been in any of those casks, which would maybe bump up its ABV a little bit, but it's pretty ABV-able, ABV-ish. It's 7. So Kingsthorne is a winery. But I saw that their main winemaker, cider maker, was a guy called Simon Day. And I thought, I know that name. I know Simon Day, or I know of Simon Day. Simon Day was a guy behind Once Upon a Tree, a cider maker in Ledbury. There's also a vineyard, 16 Ridges Vineyard, I want to say, and Once Upon a Tree, like on the same site. So they've got vineyards there. Turns out he's a consultant winemaker, but also that Once Upon a Tree is now called Haygrove Evolution. I think I'm right in saying that. And they basically make cider and wine and stuff for other people. So I think they're making their wine on their site in Ledbury. Yeah, so it's contract winemaking and contract cider making, if you like. So it's a bit of a complicated story. But anyway, let's see what it's like. Let's open it. So I'll rinse the glass out. So it said slightly sparkling. It's got a bit of sparkle. Again, this is force carbonated. It's got that slightly more, I would think it's more like a washing up liquid head. The bubbles are a bit bigger. And sorry, again, my camera's the wrong way around. Like normally the lens is on this side and it's on this side to this. I keep looking over there. Like it's not, I'm not trying to avoid eye contact. I keep looking at the wrong part of the camera. So yeah, bright, so filtered, not bottle conditioned. It's going to be force carbonated. Did it say it was dry? I've forgotten already because I'm old. Beer style, traditional, blah, 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 oak, vanilla, aromas, mellow, slightly sparkling, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really say if it's sweet or dry on there, as far as I can see. If it does, I'll put it up on the screen, but it can't see that it does. So no strong, I don't know how dry or sweet it's meant to be. So I don't know if it's back sweetened, if it is sweet or whatever. It's probably going to have some sweetness in it though. I think they only make one cider. And they're destroying massive swathes of their market if they make it bone dry. Because most people just have never had bone dry cider or won't drink it. And if they do drink it, they think something wrong with it. This has got legs, baby, I think, because of its ABV. Oh, yeah. All right, this has been in a barrel of some description. I mean, not wooden. I mean, a barrel that's had something else in it previously. I mean, it smells like it could be whiskey and bourbon. I think I'm getting bourbon for sure. Yeah. Bourbon barrel. Maybe port as well. Maybe it's been in a few different barrels. Doesn't smell peaty. Get into whiskey though, definitely. I'm going to go bourbon. Could be wrong. Let's try it. Okay, squeaky teeth. Yeah, it's got some cider apples in it. That's for shizzle, because it's got some tannin. It's not brutal, but it's definitely there. And it's something you wouldn't get in a commercial cider really ever, to any degree whatsoever. And when I'm drinking it, as I'm tipping it, that sort of whiskey cask or whatever it is, aromatic, is going up my nose. I'm also getting it on the palate. It's prominent. I'm going to say it's as much as I would like. You know, it's on the border of like starting to mask the cider, but it doesn't quite mask it. I'm getting apple character from this, but it does feel boozy. Yeah, I'm going to say bourbon barrel. So tannin, minerality, delicate apple. Bubbles are good actually. It's sensitively carbonated, not too fizzy at all. Just going to pour a bit more out. But it feels like a beast. It feels like a sipper. It really does. The whiskey element is definitely prominent. And for me, what am I thinking? This isn't bad. It's just a bit too boozy for my liking. I'd like a bit less booze and a bit more cider. If you're going to put cider on it like that, traditional cider wouldn't have been in a bourbon barrel. So I feel like you want to get, doesn't mean you can't put it in a bourbon barrel. Just I want a bit less bourbon influence, like put some of it in a bourbon barrel and then blend it back into taste or something like that, you know? I think there's quality apples in this. I think it's masking that. And I feel like, and it's also bourbon. So as a youth, as a teenager, mid to late teens, I drank a lot of bourbon. It was just something we did. I drank a lot of, I smoked a lot of Marlboro cigarettes. For way too many years, from very young, which meant my chest is a mess now. I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked for 20 years, but I grew up in a smoking household, and then I smoked Marlboro for like 25 years or whatever it was. Drank a lot of bourbon, and I have to say, put me off bourbon a bit after drinking so much of it as a youth. I was into metal. I thought I was Slash or something, I think. I don't know what it was. Anyway, played guitar, smoked Marlboro. I mean, you know, I wasn't Slash. I was just an idiot in the northeast of England. However, I drank a lot of bourbon. And yeah, this has got too much bourbon for me. I just feel I just find it a little bit cloying, a little bit much. That's a lot to drink, I think, for that flavour, for my palate. It's not a bad cider. I just think it's bourbon heavy and it's not to my taste. But if you like those sorts of barrel-aged ciders, then I think you should definitely buy a bottle of this and try it. It's pretty easy to find because as far as I can see, it's the only cider that they currently make. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm going to assume that if they're making this in a winery, they're using a wine yeast as well. You don't want to get wild yeast into your winery unless you're a natural winemaker and that's all you do. So I feel that this has probably got another element, potential element missing, because I think they're probably using a wine yeast. That's a guess. I'm happy to be proved wrong, but that's my guesstimation. But if you see this, I bought this at the Cyder Museum in Herefordshire, in Hereford, in fact. If you're passing, go in, buy a bottle, see what you think. Also, same with that one. Bought it at the same time in the same place. I don't sell these on my website currently. It's the first time I've tried them. Everything I try, I don't sell. I just like to try lots of cider. But if I do sell it, I'll mention it and you can go and buy it if you want. These, you'll have to go elsewhere. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me at my cider table. I hope you join me again, but until that time, cheers.